Good morning and welcome to our Men of Christ blog. It is the 16th of October 2020. This is an introduction to our 7 effective traits of godly men. On our run up to Christmas, we're going to be looking at purity, wisdom, responsibility, honesty, courage, forgiveness and compassion. These are not 1 Corinthians gifts of God. This is more 1 Corinthians stand firm, be brave and live your life as a Christian. These traits are going to help us. We are commanded in Galatians 5:22 to 23 that if we live our lives in the Spirit, then we must walk in the Spirit. And these traits are going to enable us to make that walk more successful. We are called to be like Jesus. 1 John, if we claim to be Christian, then we must be like Christ. To be like Christ, we must be the lamp to those people around us. We must be the lamp in the darkness, not only to those people around us, but to ourselves, so we can see where we're walking. And these traits are going to help us with that. As I've said, the difficulty is these traits are easy to accomplish in the world around us. Being brave in the world around us is dead easy. You can walk down the street, puff out your chest, and stop people who are doing wrong. Relatively simple. If you want to be Christian brave, then and exhibit real courage, this is an opportunity to have a look at that, because essentially real courage is when your friend is getting his marriage wrong, you have the courage to tell him. When you're getting your marriage wrong, you have the courage to tell yourself. This is the difference between Christian courage and world courage. So as we're walking in this journey of the Spirit, why do we have to work on these traits? Well, realistically, how will we evangelize? How will we evangelize if we're not brave enough? If we don't have that courage to stand up and tell people about Jesus? How will we be a light in our community if we don't have the honesty and integrity in how we present ourselves, and then the courage to talk to them? How will we comfort grieving family members if we don't have honest compassion? How do we lift guys up who are suffering from depression and anxiety if we don't have the wisdom to discern this, and then the courage to approach them on it? How do we find hope in our own lives and hope for those around us if we don't have the power to forgive, and we don't have the compassion once we've forgiven? These traits are super important, guys, in making a difference and spreading the gospel. So what I'm going to do in the next several weeks now is dig into these traits and look at not only the ones we're great at. Really what we're calling ourselves to do is look at the ones we're not great at, look at the ones that we're not good at. So if you're wise, you can't rely on that wisdom to carry you through on your journey. You've got to identify that maybe you're not courageous enough. Well, you need to focus on being more courageous. Okay, it's not good enough just to be wise. We must be courageous. So next week we're looking at purity, and I'm really hoping that this week, as we move towards next week, certainly is looking at how have we been pure in our lives this week. So when we talk about this next Friday, you can identify, have you been pure? You can identify, is it one of my strengths or one of my weaknesses? If it's one of your strengths, we need to go out and use it powerfully. If it's one of your weaknesses, then we need to start looking in Scripture of how we strengthen ourselves in purity, for instance. So I'm going to leave you with that, guys, to think on and pray on this week. Concentrate on purity in your lives this week. Maybe make a mental note of when you've exhibited real purity, or when you could have exhibited real purity. And we will reconvene next week, which will be really exciting. It'll be me or Roberto sharing, which will be cool. And it's going to be a good series running up to Christmas, gentlemen. So God bless you this weekend with your families. God bless you next week in your workplaces. And we will see you next week.